I'm Pastor George Borgard, and this is another Higher Things video short. The church is full of hypocrites. That's the subject of today's Higher Things video short. Maybe you've heard it before said, or maybe someone you know doesn't go to church anymore because, well, the church is full of hypocrites. Someone did something that they shouldn't have done, or people lived the way they shouldn't have lived, or the pastor messed up, and they just don't want to go to church anymore because their view of church has been racked by this congregation of people who just were sinners. So what do we say to that? Well, we certainly can't deny that the church is full of people who live one way while believing a different way. That's the simul. The church is full of people who are simul iustus et peccator, same time saint and sinner. They believe that Jesus died for them and rose for them and lives for them, saint, and they sin like he didn't. Or they don't believe that Jesus died and rose again. They live like that. So we certainly can't deny the condemnation that the church is definitely full of sinners, but what we would say is sinners and hypocrites is, well, what the church is all about. The church is all about Jesus saving sinners. And those sinners are hypocrites. They are sinners. See, I've said this before, but it bears repeating. You wouldn't go and look at the hospital and go, I'm not going in there because in there are some sick people. All right, I'm not going into that hospital because sick people are there. No, you go to the hospital because you are sick. And the goal of being in the hospital is to get out of the hospital and be well. The church is a hospital for people whose sickness is sin. Now, the only cure for said sickness is not for them to be something that they're not or to act some different way. The cure for that is Christ, his holy life and his bitter sufferings and death. You see, Jesus washes his church. He purifies her. He cleanses her with the blood and water that flows from his pierced side. He makes her his own. He holies her and brides her and loves her. The church is holy because Jesus is holy. The church is pure because Jesus is pure. The church is faithful because Jesus is faithful. Outside of Jesus, the church is not faithful. She's a whore and she runs after everything under the sun. She lives for herself and hurts others. But in Jesus, in the gospel, in the forgiveness of sins, she's holy and she's pure and she's without spot or wrinkle or any such thing. She's his own. She's his glorious bride. And he looks at her and he says, my bride, Dad, look at my bride. She's completely and totally mine, and no one can snatch her out of my hand. So what do? Well, we tell our friends who are hurt by sinners in the church, we point them to Christ. We tell them, you know what? You got me. I'm a hypocrite too. And you know, if you look at yourself, the judgment that you're making isn't probably fair either, because by judging, you're sort of being hypocritical, because the church is all about sinners receiving forgiveness from Jesus, not about changing people's behaviors. So have mercy on the church. Why don't you come to church as one who needs the forgiveness just like the rest of us? And if there gets to be a point that having been involved in a church makes it too difficult to go there, well, talk to pastor and he'll find you a different church. But I can bet you that before he does, he's going to wash you with forgiveness and love you with the blood of Christ and forgive you with the words of forgiveness and breathe life into you again so that you might love others, even unlovable ones. The church is full of hypocrites, but these are the hypocrites for whom Christ died and for whom Christ lives and reigns. And one day, we'll see the church as she really is, not a gathering of boards or a clique of people or a group of sinners or people who bully one another or those who are bullied. and judge others. But his bride, washed in the blood of the Lamb, we'll see him standing before him and hear those words. These are they who come out of the great tribulation. They've washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. These are the sick who are sick no more. They're healed. Now, right now, this day, in this life. Hypocrites, mixed, hypocrites who are saints only by the love that the Christ has for them. Have mercy on us, Lord, all of us. I'm Pastor George Borgard, and this has been another Higher Things video short.